one of my other biggest fears was actually sickness, because after going through sickness, almost losing my life, I always had a fear of I might end up sick. So I would always be very careful with what I ate.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Atsin Show. My name is Cheptoek Boyo, and today we have Fatma Mohammed, who is an actress and a TV presenter. Welcome to the show, Fatma.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. I love that you're doing this as well. So go. Thank you for having me.
Sasa Kiswahili yako sanifu kabisa.
Nikifika Nairobi I tone it down kidogo. Manake when I start speaking like how I speak with my sisters, my brothers, kidogo watu wa Nairobi wanapotea. So nitakuwa pole pole lakini tutaendelea na Kiswahili, haina shida.
Okay. So sasa born and raised in Mombasa?
Yes, born and raised in Mombasa, paka shule, kila kitu. High school, Mama Ngina Girls, which is a really good school. Most people who are Mama Ngina Girls alumni are doing really well. So proud to be a Beaver girl. Halafu, kuja Nairobi ni kwa sababu ya kazi. You know, kwa sababu Nairobi is where... Nairobi is the hub of anything to do with entertainment.
Yeah.
So ukija huku unakuja ukijua kwamba unakuja kutafuta kazi. Na kazi ni aina tofauti. Here we find that there are more opportunities, So if you're in the media industry, you want to try TV, you want to try radio, you want to try voice acting, of course, Nairobi is where it's at. But in future, we know we want Mombasa pia ipate kuinuka. That's why, we want to make sure that watu kama sisi pia tunapeleka opportunities kule pwani. Yeah.
How ku mention primary school na college?
Okay, primary school, St. Augustine's Primary School. Ni shule ambayo ilinifunza mambo mengi. It's a school that actually taught me more about living with and also interacting with people of different faiths, because my school was an Anglican school. Nikajifunza zaidi kuhusu dini za wengine na pia jinsi utakavyoweza interact na wenzako ambao wametoka kwa different religious backgrounds. College, I studied IT, but for a short time. I didn't do it for a long time. Ilikuwa IAT, Institute of Advanced Technology, nikiwa Mombasa as well. Also studied French. Nilipenda sana kujifunza language nyingine kwa sababu I'm a voice actress. So ikifikia kwa kufanya radio adverts, niliona kwamba nikifanya radio adverts za English, za Kiswahili, kwangu mimi nikaona nikiongeza lugha tofauti pia naweza kupata kazi tofauti. So, that's kind of
diversifying.
Yeah.
Hey, guy, I think I've known you for over 10, 12 years.
I know, we go way back, and I'm so happy to see you.
Good seeing you
happy
too.
To see you.
Now, back then you were doing TV presenting.
Yes.
When did that switch to now acting?
Okay.
Because he field sikukuwa nimetarajia uingie.
I know.
Yeah.
It was always inside of me. Nilikuwa nataka sana kujaribu acting. Ni vile naweza sema I didn't really know how to go about it. TV presenting nilifanya kwa miaka mingi. So nilianza, my very first show was actually on Citizen TV. It was a show called Art Gallo. At that time ilikuwa show ambayo ili wakati wa Power Breakfast, wakati wa kina Kobi Kihara and the whole team, yeah. Alafu baada ya hapo nikafanya Kikwetu Super Chef Show ambayo ilikuwa kwa K24. Kisha nikafanya Pambazuka National Lottery Show ambayo ilikuwa NTV. Sasa katika ile hali ya kufanya hizi kazi kwenye TV, nikagundua kwamba I was so used to doing a job, a contract, signing a contract, doing a job, alafu nakaa na ngoja contract nyingine. So I had gotten very comfortable in that way. So then life happened. I got very sick, and when I got very sick, unfortunately, I could not walk. I could not do anything.
Pole sana.
Thank you so much. So kwa career kama hiyo, you're going to have to figure it out and find other ways that you can be able to work. Na kwa sababu ya hivyo ndio nikapata, ni kama nikagundua kwamba kuna njia zingine naweza weza kufanya kazi bila mimi kuonekana na watu, ambayo ilianza na voicing. Sasa nikawa nikifanya voicing, translations za hizi telenovelas, wakitaka translations za Kiswahili, translations za English. Alafu pia nikaanza kufanya radio ads hivyo.
Translation kama kipindi gani?
Kama kipindi ambacho kwa sasa kiko kwa Rainbow TV ni First Lady, La Première Dame, which is in French, lakini tukakitranslate kwa Kiswahili na kwa Kiingereza. So kikawa kinaonyeshwa kwenye Rainbow TV. So kwa vile tuseme kama una telenovela kile kipindi unakipenda sana, kiko kwa lugha tofauti. Lakini wakikileta Kenya watahitaji actors, lakini hawataonekana sura zao, but utasikia sauti in a language ambayo wewe utaielewa. So sasa hiyo ndio kazi mimi hufanya, yani na translate.
So ni kama zile Telemundo,
yes,
sisi tuna watch in English, but in reality iko in Mexican.
Yes.
So in short, dubbing.
Yes, dubbing. Yes, exactly. Halafu kwa wakati huo pia nilivyojifunza different ways za kutafuta pesa, naweza sema, ndo nikagundua kwamba I can make the switch. Other than being on TV, I can also do other things. Na mimi mwenyewe pia najichukulia kuwa mtu ambaye yuko very diverse. Sipendi kufanya kitu kimoja. Na pia sisi kama wanawake, nachukulia kwamba sisi we are very dynamic, we are very diverse. We can be able to do whatever we want. Yeah. And also we should not really be put in one box. Yani mtu akwambia, wewe fanya hivi, time yako ni hii mpaka hapa. No, you can do whatever you want. And in that way, nikawa very focused. Yani nikahakikisha kwamba nimeswitch kutoka kwa TV presenting, lakini nimeingilia hizi njia zingine. And in that process pia ndio nikagundua kuhusu acting.
Aha. Yeah. Kidogo umemention ulikuwa mgonjwa na ungeweza kutembea. Ni nini ilikuwa shida? What was the problem?
Okay. Yeah. Wakati huo nikiwa 21 years old nilipatikana na fibroids, ambayo fibroids ni growth ama uvimbe kwenye kizazi, kwenye uterus. So at that time ilikuwa moja tu na ilikuwa haijanipa shida hivyo na nilikuwa sina symptoms zozote. Lakini unfortunately ama fortunately naweza sema sikupata matibabu ya sawa. Yani I was not given the right advice and the right treatment. So fibroids zikazidi kwa kiwango na zikazidi kwa in size. So they became very large and very many. Eventually zikawa 23 fibroids from one tiny fibroid.
Hey, pole. Na sijui kwa nini daktari wao usema ni harmless, wacha zikae.
I know.
Until zikwe hivyo mingi, that's too... Na ili grow to a span of how many months or years from 1 to now 23?
So from hiyo fibroid moja, in a few months zikafika zikawa 2. In a few months zikafika zikawa 3. Halafu sasa the thing that was happening ilikuwa size. Yani they were getting larger and larger. Kwa sababu ukienda matibabu ya fibroids, wao unaambiwa size ya fibroids zako based on objects that you know, like a tennis ball, a size of a pea. So kwangu mimi ilikuwa imetoka from one tiny pea size fibroid zikawa zimefika size of a tennis ball, then they kept on getting larger and larger, yeah. So sasa alafu pia nikaanza kupata symptoms because it wasn't just the fibroids are just there. Ikawa sasa napata uchungu nikipata damu ya hedhi, which is monthly periods. So napata uchungu sana. So I used to get a lot of pain. I used to pass out from the pain. And then also I used to have very heavy flow and I wasn't able to do normal things. Kama vile tu kazi yetu hii ni kazi ya media where you have to present yourself. Yeah. So it got to a place where I couldn't really work the way I wanted because it was getting in the way. But the thing that I can say really changed that trajectory was the fact that because of the fibroids, nikapatikana na ugonjwa unajulikana kama deep vein thrombosis. So this is a blood clot that develops in the leg. So mimi nikapatikana nayo kwa mguu on my right leg. Na hii ilikuwa ni kwa sababu ya fibroids. But at that time sikuwa nimeelezwa ni kwa sababu ya fibroids. You know, nakumbuka nikipelekwa hospitali nilikuwa nauliza nurses, daktari, like why do I have DVT, and none of them could give me an answer. Lakini baadaye after doing a lot of research, kuongea na madaktari tofauti, ndo nikagundua it's because ukiwa na fibroids you have high levels of estrogen. When you have high levels of estrogen, you're also bound to have blood clots. Yeah. So after discovering that's when I decided to even open my business, Wellness KE, so that I can be able to teach women about their health, especially their reproductive health. Yeah.
So Wellness KE, what services do you provide?
At Wellness KE, so we have both services and we also have products. Yeah. So this is a platform that fully focuses on women and their reproductive health. So this is very important because as women, I believe we don't get the right information when it comes to our health, especially reproductive health. Kuna stigma. For you to even tell somebody you had fibroids or you have cysts or someone struggling with their fertility or menses, any kind of issue like that, kuna ile aibu. So the platform
is taboo in certain communities.
Of course. Like there are even women who have told me kwao hawajaruhusiwa kuzungumza kuhusu hizo shida. Unajua kwa sababu ni kitu cha aibu and we don't talk about things like that. But the platform itself as Wellness KE is changing that, because now more women have been able to heal from fibroids through our products. More women have been able to heal from infertility issues, stubborn weight that doesn't leave your body. Yani ile ambao umeenda gym umefanya kila kitu, lakini now we've discovered it's hormones and you can be able to handle that. And also at the same time, we have services like we offer nutrition plans. So we have our menopause plan for women who are struggling with menopause symptoms. We also have our fibroids plan. It's a 30-day plan. PCOS plan. We have our endometriosis plan. We have a fertility plan. So I'm happy kwa sababu because of these services and the products, tumepata testimonials nyingi sana. Like it's something that really touched my heart kwa sababu yesterday I was sharing with my husband that I showed him a message from someone who sent and told me after finishing her plan, the 30-day plan amemaliza jana, and just the positive feedback that she gave me is motivation for me to keep on going. Wow. And I forgot I had carried a gift for you from Wellness K, so it's in my bag. I forgot. Yes. No problem.
Wow. So Wellness KE, is it all about women wellness?
Yes.
Ama you also cater to men?
So it started, of course, as women's wellness, mainly because of what I went through, and I felt like the information I was gathering and all, I felt like when it comes to women, they're my sisters. Naelewa, mtu akija akiniambia niko na shida na cramps, or my back hurts when I have my period, or I have low energy levels and things like that, I can relate, you know. So it just fit perfectly like a glove. Yeah. But in the process, which is something we're discovering, is that when women come to us to seek for, you know, women's wellness and advice and the nutrition plan and products, most of them are using the products with their partners. Most of them are starting the plans and then they'll tell you about their partner and they can be on the plan as well. Okay. So we've been able to also assist men who have tried to quit smoking. We've helped them with natural products that have helped them with that. Also men who have tried to lose weight, men who have tried to boost their fertility as well, which is something very common that many men are struggling with right now. And also just fixing your diet and your health, your well-being. It's very important because you can get everything else in the world. You can be as rich as you want to be, but if you don't have your wellness, really you don't have much, because that's something I had to learn the hard way. Ile kwamba uko mgonjwa mpaka, even when people come to see you at the hospital, they come with all kinds of gifts and they're really supportive and you love them for that. But then you remember they're all going to leave. And then it's just you, the hospital, and the hospital ceiling. And it's just a very sad place to be, which is why, you know, I'm very passionate about women's health. Yeah.
Now, when you talked about your fibroids journey and battling DVT, how did that impact you financially?
Oh, of course, it took everything. First of all, most of the doctors who are specialists used to tell me that they don't take insurance. So I used to pay using my card, which was very painful because I used to be admitted twice a month. It was just kind of like a guarantee. Because with fibroids, you know, you get a lot of infections, you get bacterial infections, you get very sick often. So ilikuwa all the time unajipata uko hospitali. And then DVT is also a very expensive disease or condition. It's very expensive because you usually when they find that you have the blood clot, immediately you have to be taken into hospital and admitted because they have to start administering medication ambayo it's supposed to thin your blood so that it doesn't clot. That is very expensive. I paid using my card, trust me. One time I remember I paid around 85K at once, and it was just it took the most out of me because I felt like I'm fighting for my life, because a lot of people who have blood clots don't usually make it. It's a condition that takes away your life. So for me, I was in that desperate state, you know, even though I was working and earning good money, but most of it was just going to the disease. And also, unfortunately, kuna watu ambao wako na condition kama hii au ugonjwa aina nyingine, but they don't have the means, they don't have the money. And it's even tougher for them because ukienda hospitali, the treatment is not the same. I can say I was treated well in terms of just how I was received because they knew I was going to be able to pay. But I've seen with my own eyes people who have not been treated well because they didn't have the money to pay. And so for that reason, I'm like, okay, it took everything from me. It drained me financially. Ndio nikafikia pale mahali ambapo now I'm like, okay, now I have to find money because now I'm well. God has given me life, but now I don't have money. Now what do? You have to go back out there and start working. And during this cafes was where I was like, I'm now going back out there. Let me see what I can do. And I kept on getting almost there, but then I don't get there. Yani, I got phone calls from so many TV stations. They wanted me to try out for the news, I remember. And I would go in, I do my screen test. They love it, they're happy. And then I don't get the call. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish they knew I really need this job. You really need
this job.
But unfortunately, like some things take time. And during this phase, I learned how to now make money other than just getting a contract. Because I feel like sometimes God talks to you during, actually, not sometimes, all the time, God talks to you during your lowest moments. He wants for you to learn something from it. It doesn't make him happy when you're going through sadness. It's just that he has to mold you to become a different person, such that that moment or that thing that really took away from you, there's something that comes out of it. So for me, I learned ways to be able to make money and get by without having to wait for a contract. And I'm glad it happened because I've never looked back ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about acting.
Yes.
Now I saw you on Pieces of Us and Kina. Which came first and which roles were you doing in both? Okay,
so I started with Pieces of Us. So I have a friend of mine, his name is Musa Mufti, and he is the reason I ended up on Pieces of Us, because he would always encourage me to go for auditions, and he'd be like, you have to try out for this, you have to try out for that. And I remember at that time I was starting to get exhausted because acting auditions are not easy. They're not easy. And so eventually I tried out for Pieces of Us. I sent in a video and then they watched the video, they liked it, and then they told me, okay, now we want you to try out for this character. And the character's name, Natalie. And so Pieces of Us came first, and it was the most amazing experience because that was my very first, show to be on. And it was by Insignia Productions. I remember very well just how it felt to be, my first time on set, and how the actors were very supportive. Everybody was just very nice. It was a very chill set, and it was the best set for me to be on, especially being my very first, professional gig on TV. But I have to mention, before I did Pieces of Us, I remember I went in to try out for an audition for a show. It was supposed to be a new show by Akina Langiri and Ruben Odanga. And then that was my very first audition ever in acting. And I remember it went so well that Langiri called me to the side and was like, are you sure you've never done this before? I want you, I liked the audition. And then they were trying to pitch a new TV show. It was supposed to be a new series during your time as Selena. And they actually cast all of us. Like, it was a group of us. We started shooting the pilot. We shot the pilot. It went really well. But unfortunately, the show did not get picked up, which is okay. But during that time, I learned a lot also on how to work, on set. Then now professionally, I ended up on Pieces of Us as my very first show. Then after that, I ended up on Kina. I remember the Kina, the call I got was so... it was more or less like, I remember at that time I was in Mombasa for a short while, and then I watched an episode of Kina, and then when I watched an episode, I liked it so much, and I was like, it would be nice to be on a show like this one because the actors really give everything. And so through God and just how he works, I ended up also getting a message from Gerald Langiri, and then he told me like to try out. I was supposed to try out for a role. And then I tried out for the role, they liked it, and that's when I had my episodes on Kina, which was also another extremely amazing experience. And Kina fans are real fans because yes, they
They're
are
like,
so passionate.
They're like Selena fans.
Yes, they don't mess with, because when I went in, I was trying out for a role, and it was a love triangle, between two characters that I really loved. They are a couple, everybody loves them. And then I came in.
Who are this character?
So the male character played by Mugo, female character played by Makena. And so when I went in to try out, actually when I was starting to shoot my scenes, I didn't know just how massive that was going to be, because people just would message me and be like, I can't believe you messed up their relationship. And I'm like, it's acting. And the funny part was that everybody was so supportive also on the set. Yeah. But I think for me, after I was done and the episodes were out, was when I realized like people are really invested emotionally in the couple.
In the story.
And the story. Yeah. And they were like, I can't even believe you did this. And so I would even get clients who would book for like a nutrition plan. They'd be done. When we do the nutrition plan, we have to have a session on Zoom. So I would do the session on Zoom with them, finish. Then after we are done, and I'm like, okay, bye. Then they're like, by the way, how come you did that role on Kina? And I'm like, it's acting.
Yeah.
It's acting. But then I loved it because it meant that, it stuck in their minds. Yeah. They believed it. And that's all you want.
An awesome job.
Yes, that's all you want as an actor. You want them to believe it. So I felt really good about that. Yeah.
How was it working with the big wigs on the set? Because Kina has big names.
Yeah.
Then I think it was Sanapei Tande, Jimmy Gathu.
All of them.
Ainia Ojambo.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was amazing. All of them are so good at what they do. And I always believe, like, if you really want to be better, you have to be among the best. You have to be around the best to watch what they are doing so that you can learn from them. So that was one of the best experiences I've ever had, actually, because I felt like everything was handled so smoothly. I kept on telling that to my husband. I was like, every time I would come back home, I would just tell him, like, I walked in, we shot, no time was wasted. Everybody just knows their lines. And it was such an amazing feeling. And for me, I thrive in that type of environment because I take myself so seriously when I pick up anything I need to do. Before I decide to do something or take up a new venture, I've already asked myself, can I really do this, and will I do this well? Because my personality is that I am my biggest congratulator and I'm also my own biggest critic, just like any creative. Yeah. So because of that, I'm like, are you sure you can do this? Yes, I'm sure I can do this. So when the episodes were out, I would watch myself to make sure that I'm better, because I knew when something else comes, I can correct certain things, Yeah. And I know many actors don't really get to do that because they're very nervous about watching themselves.
Many actually don't like
Yes,
watching themselves.
they never watch themselves. But I think because of TV presenting for me, I would watch myself when I host a show because I wanted to see, like, where am I going wrong? What can I correct? Because every day I believe you can be better at what you do. And you never say, like, I have arrived, I'm the best, I'm it. You just want to improve. And so for that reason, I never felt awkward to watch myself. Even with voicing, I know people have a hard time listening to themselves because they feel like their voice sounds weird. But for me, I go to a place where I was comfortable enough, because I would have to listen to something before I send it to a client. Yeah. I would have to get to that place in order for me to, give excellence. So for that reason, I can say I ended up just learning a lot. I ended up enjoying myself on set. And when I left that set, I just said a prayer. I was very grateful. I was thankful to the cast. I was thankful to everyone that just handled that show, and even to the fans, because I remember I wanted to share like a moment, a cake with the cast and stuff on my very last day on set. And where I went to get the cake, even the guy who baked the cake, he saw, because I wanted them to write, thank you, Kina, cast and crew. And he was like, Kina, like, even the guy who was making the cake, he was like, please say hi to them. And that's how powerful that show is. And everybody loves it, and it's for a reason. Everyone that's on there deserves to be there and deserves success. Yeah.
Now on Faithless.
I know.
Main role. Hakuna kupeleka keki.
Yes. Huko we just show love.
Yes.
Love.
How did you get it?
So I got a message from Isaiah Evans, who is who handles Kina. He actually is the director on Kina. And so we worked on Kina, and I felt like he was such a good, he knows what he's doing, basically. And I enjoyed shooting with him all the time. I would say it all the time because he's very good with timing and everything. And you save up your energy as an actor. So after that, I got a message from him. He asked me like, would you be able to try out for this type of role? And then when he asked me that, I was like, oh yeah, I would like to try out. And he sent me like a few, like a bio of the characters, 2 different characters. Yeah. The first one was the character that's played by Rosemary Waweru, Esther. And then the second one was now my character, Hope. And he was like, between the 2, which one do you feel suits you? And then, you can be able to tell me. And then now we would schedule you for an audition. Yeah. And so when I checked the 2, I remember I went in to try out. I tried out first for Esther, which is Rosemary's role. And then I remember it was a very like tense kind of audition because it was very thorough. And immediately I saw just how thorough it was. I was happy. I knew like everybody wants excellence, and I thrive in such an environment. And I saw just how they were very particular about how they wanted everything. And then when I tried out for the Esther role, I remember the director who directed us on Faithless, his name is Abdi Shuria. He told me like to wait outside so that I can try out for a different role. And so I waited outside to try out now for the role of Hope, which is, who I play on Faithless. And then when I went in, the thing that is interesting is that Hope had so many people were trying out for Hope. Mm-hmm. Everybody was trying out for Hope.
Why was Hope so popular?
I don't know. I think because they wanted to be very sure who they pick. Mm-hmm. And I remember like I saw everybody that's famous, well-known, really good at acting, and they all tried out, which told me like, this is going to be a really good production, a really big production. And also like everybody else was supposed to be a perfect fit, which goes to show you just how really, how amazing the casting was, because they had to be very thorough about who came in, tried out with who, and if they gelled. I remember the first time, like when I went to try in as Hope, that's where I met Avril, because she was on the side, like reading her lines and, being very thorough about what she was going to do. And then they told us that we were going to go in together, and try out like her role of Deborah and mine as Hope. And then we went to the side, and then we just did our own kind of like mini audition. And then now we went into audition together. Mm-hmm. And it went so well when we went to the side and tried it. I remember just thinking like, she was very focused, which was really a good thing. It was a plus. Mm-hmm. And then when we went in, we tried out, and I felt like it was good. And then now they wanted other characters to come in and try out with me. So, but then it wasn't like, like the final step, because I still went back to audition and re-audition for Hope till the last day. Like when they picked me for Hope, there were still new faces that have come in.
Hope. To try Rosemary was here.
Yeah.
And she said the audition for Faithless was actually shortlist after shortlist, and a shorter list of the shortlist.
Yes, it's exactly that. And it for me, I'm used to auditioning, like I'm used to auditioning, because when you are doing anything in the media, TV, you just go, that's really your life. You're going to have to get used to new faces looking at you from every angle, judging you. And I never take it personal. And I think it's because of age. I've gotten to a place where I don't take it personal. If someone says, no, I don't think that's what I'm looking for, I just tell myself, oh, that's okay. I imagine that the person that's going to get that really needed it at that time. And so I'm okay with it. I make peace with it. I go back to my life. And then when I'm picked for something, then I put my mind into it, and then I do it. But Hope actually had that, like, that's what I remember. We tried out, so many of us tried out, and rightfully so. Everybody was so good. And I think also because I'm from the coast, my accent was a bit, coastarian. So they wanted it to be a little bit different. But then, like I had to try and mask it. And I remember one time someone was making fun of me on set. They're like, this is you masking it? Woo!
We still can see the
Yes.
hear the coast.
Yes, but they say accents are beautiful. They tell people where you're really from, so you can't really like hide it. And I've never really been in that place where I want to hide where I'm from or anything like that. But I'm used to it. I'm used to it, and I'm grateful for the fact that I've been able to even work alongside people who are very talented, very good. During a short span, I've been able to do a lot, and I'm grateful for that because it has taught me even better work ethic. It has also taught me that any opportunity that comes, it has come from God. You cannot really say, I want this and I want that, because sometimes we want to curate our lives the way we want them to be. I would want to be, doing something else, but then God is like, no, I want you here, because when you're here, I will teach you something new, and then you will take it with you elsewhere. So I'm grateful for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that the show is over, how is your relationship offset with Beatrice, Rosemary, and Avril?
Oh, it's the best. I can say that we had a good relationship on set and even off set. Everyone is trying to get together for the final episode, because the final episode is coming up. And also just us as the girls, we want to have a nice time. I was away for my wedding, so I was not able to hang out so much with them when they were doing the promos and doing everything else. But for me, I love the fact that they are women. I love the fact that they are moms. I love the fact that they are grown women that know exactly what they want. They are good at what they do. There were no like issues between women, and people always
There's
say
no
like
cattiness.
No, people always say like when women work together, there's this and that. No, I feel like when grown women work together, they go far because they know exactly what they want. Everybody is confident in who they are, comfortable in who they are, and so because of that, I just loved it. The energy was really good from all of them. I have mutual respect for everybody because I feel like every one of them just. I always say like if I was what do you call this? A talent manager. I would already know like the trajectory for Rosemary, what she should do next, and Beats and Avril, because I feel like they all just have this personality, their side to them that the world should know, because they are also very unique in their own way. Like Rosemary is very soulful. She's very wholesome. She already knows what she wants in life, which I love. Beats is just such a lovable person. Anytime I see a message from her, I'm happy because that's who she is. She makes friends very easily. She's just such a good person. Avril is also very focused. She's also very down to earth. She's very chill, and also business oriented, goal oriented. So all these are things that I feel I can learn so much from, I can pick up from, and the energy just has always been good, and it's always just been pure love between us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Being from Mombasa, we see a lot of new productions actually coming out of Mombasa. Dope ones, with most of the storyline from Mombasa and all that, which is beautiful because, stories from Nairobi ni Gondi, Wheezy. You see, like that is what is happening in our society in Nairobi. But in Mombasa is more love.
It's love,
and all that.
Yeah.
How is the film industry at the coast?
I can say that people are really working hard to do their best, which is so encouraging. If I can share, during my wedding, we met some really amazing photographers and film, like, what do I call them? The videographers and photographers that were so amazing. They did such a good job. Their editing is on point. Their shoots, everything they did with us for the wedding and even for the family, like how they shot everything. And I've even met more people who are talented, like other than behind the camera, actors and radio presenters. Everybody's just so talented that when you hang out with them, you're like, wow, this is a different type of energy. So the industry there, it would be nice if more events are taken there, like award ceremonies, so that people can be able to network, and also just any kind of support that can be given to the artists would be awesome. But I also feel like as a Mombasada, as a Coastarian, I feel like we always know how to make our way at the end of the day, because hata ukiwa hapa Nairobi, you find a lot of Coastarians. They are doing a lot of voiceovers in Kiswahili. They're acting. they're from Mombasa, but they've had to move here.
Yeah.
The industry there, yes, it's up to us to be able to go back home and give it a bigger boost so that more people can be able to enjoy the authentic stories told over there. Kwa sababu sometimes, you watch something shot by someone who's not a Costarian trying to portray a Costarian story. You're like, what is this? It's coconuts everywhere. And everybody's like, well, now, but you're like, no, this is not really how we are. So it's up to us to actually tell those stories.
Yes.
Because they'll be more authentic, and also I feel like when we do that, then we are able to just give more life to the industry there. Yeah. So hopefully it's going to happen. And then, like more people are going to take most of their projects to Mombasa so that it can, finally get that recognition.
Yeah. And even cast Mombasa artists.
Yes, of course.
So that they get to portray
the characters. All of that. Yeah.
So being a Muslim, are there roles you cannot take or things you cannot do on set?
Yes.
What are those? The way you're shaking your head.
Oh my gosh. This one is a tough one because I always, before I sign a contract, I always have to ask, like, even for Faithless, I ask them, like, what would be expected of me? Am I supposed to, anything to do with nudity, intimacy on set, just things like that. But let me just add that it doesn't mean that just because I'm Muslim, I'm going to, do that. Even if I was not, there are things that for me I'm not comfortable with. And I remember just thinking, like, what happens to actors like us who still want to be able to tell stories and be able to give our best on screen, but then we don't want to go that far? Does that mean we don't get to work? Or do we have to find our own ways and create our own stories and write our own stories so that we can be able to portray them, to the best of our ability, the way we would want to? Because when you think about the world, it's filled with different kinds of people. Every one of us knows somebody who is comfortable with their sexuality or nudity, and then we also know someone who's a little bit more, yeah. So because of that, that's acting. Actually, there'll be people who will be different. There'll be people who are comfortable with violence, and there'll be people who are not. And there'll be people who will want, there'll be actors who will be comfortable doing certain things, and vice versa. So for me, before I take up any project, not just acting, even TV presenting, I want to know, like, what brand is it? What does it, represent? Because at the end of the day, I want to be on that side where I can say, like, I'm proud of what I have done. I'm not uncomfortable watching it or seeing myself. It doesn't mean that those who do are doing something wrong. For them, they're comfortable with it, know. And for me, I'm comfortable in that way. And also, even as I'm, as I was shooting and going on set, at that time, I was not yet married, but I was still with at that time, he was my boyfriend. So that's, something that we had to agree on, because I would have to, talk to him and tell him, like, this is the role, this is what I'm doing, and etc. And I would have to be able to explain to him, because he comes from a very different background, like he's in a different field. So for some of us who are, creatives in this way, it's a bit confusing to explain to somebody, okay, so I'm going to work, somebody is going to be holding me in a way. Okay, bye, babe.
That is not godly.
Yes. But then again, I've understood that this is an art, because I remember a director actually telling me, no, but it's okay, Fatma, it's not you doing it, it's the character doing it. And I get it. I completely get it. But for me, I'm always just in that mental space, So I think about things like that. And other than just acting, I also think about the same thing when it comes to what is it that I'm saying. I remember just recently, a few days ago, someone sent me a script for something, and it was more or less like propaganda. They are trying to do a project, but it's like propaganda. And I was like, I wanted to get to the bottom of it. I'm like, why am I saying these lines, and what is this about? And by the time they explained to me, I'm like, okay, no, thank you.
That's for me.
Yeah. No, ma'am. And I didn't do it. But then again, I just have to decide. I have to make that choice, which I guess it comes also with age, because if we were to do this when we were much younger, you can really be pushed into doing things that maybe you're not that comfortable with, and you're not really feeling safe enough to say, because you're scared you might not get the opportunity anymore. But at the moment, I'm grateful for the fact that every opportunity that has come has not made me uncomfortable. Even the actors that I've been on set with who have played my partners have made me very comfortable, and I'm glad. And they've been mature enough to understand like this is a job and this is what they are supposed to do. And I have always reciprocated and, and showed up to work because it's a job. Yeah.
Now that you're famous, or let's say popular,
wow, boy,
people guys can place you on certain productions. Do you feel pressurized being nice to people?
Oh, okay. First of all, I don't consider myself famous. I really don't. I feel like this is a job. And I think the reason why is because I started doing this at 19, going 20. And starting on TV and just, signing contracts, getting on set, shooting. So I've always considered it a job, but I've never really taken it back home with me where I'm like, oh, I need special treatment. This is who I am. People know who I am, because I just don't live in that space because I think of it as a job. Yeah. I'm not pressurized to be nice to people. I just know that people are highly influenced. They really are. As much as we hate to admit it, if you can imagine your platform on social media, you have, let's say, 1,100 followers. If you were to imagine these are actual humans standing behind you, following you, it's 1,100 people. So
that's a long line.
That's a long line. So if you do something and they also mimic, that means whatever you do, it's also going to influence them to some degree. So as much as you don't want to give yourself pressure to be perfect, but you also understand like people are influenced by you. As much as we don't really want to carry that load, it is the truth. It is your bread and butter, the fact that people actually like you and they follow you, but at the same time, they also like something about you. Maybe they live vicariously through you. Maybe they would love to do what you do. Maybe they would one day just love to wear what you wear, go where you're going, and just be in that world. But in that same vein, they would also want to do the things that you do. So for me, I would say it's mostly just to make sure that whatever I do, hopefully God allows me to just leave behind a legacy that allows more women especially to go for what they want, to be as diverse as they can be, and also to just not give I can't curse, but just don't listen to what people have to say. Do what you're supposed to do and do it well, so that people don't go like, oh no, they're giving you this role because you're the minority and you're female. No. They're giving you because you're good at what you do. Yeah. And when you walk in, people sit up straight and they know you're going to bring the business. So it's what I would want to leave behind, as opposed to saying like, I'm pressured to, kind of be nice and be... No, I don't know. I'm not that type of person. I'll just be as real as I can be. If it's not good, then it's not good. But then if it's good, then we're good. That's it. Yeah.
What is or was your biggest fear?
Oh, at some point, my biggest fear was doing a live show. When I was doing TV, I would always do pre-recorded shows, and I was okay with it because I knew my links. They're like 5 links, and I'm like, hi guys, welcome to the show. Ta-da! But then I got Pambazuka National Lottery show, and it was a live show, and I was like, okay, hold up. I don't know how I'm going to do this, because it was the first ever live lottery show in the country, and they were live. So everything from maybe I'll fall down, maybe I'll, all of that. Maybe I'll be boring. Maybe I'll do this. All the fears. But then I finally did it. And then I was like, oh, wow, because I can do that. Now that means I can host events. I can be an MC. I can do everything. Other than that, one of my other biggest fears was actually sickness. Because after going through sickness, almost losing my life, I always had a fear of I might end up sick. So I would always be very careful with what I ate. So I was insane with it. When I met my husband, he would always just be like, how are you living like this? Because I was very keen on what I put in my body. And it's because I had a fear, because I had already faced that issue of sickness. Yeah. So that was something that I feared a lot. It was definitely anything to do with my health, and also, anything to do with a project I do and it just not going the way I wanted it to go, But fear is normal. Fear is natural. What I can say is I have learned. I have learned that everything good will live on the other side of fear. If you don't conquer that fear, you will never do great things. Nobody is talking about great people going, well, they were average at this. No, it's because they do insanely amazing things. Not to put pressure on you, but to show you that as a human being, you can
take risks.
You have to take huge risks. People will never understand why you're taking that risk. And also, how God speaks to you is so unique. He might tell you to decide to take this podcast and this show to a different country, and everybody else will think you're insane. But he's already talked to you. It was not a conference call. It was just with you. He has told you, like, take it there, because when you go there, I will give you people who will uplift you, and then you will do it in a different way. Then you follow your heart. At the beginning, everybody will think you're insane. And then it will start working. Then everybody will start following and liking. And then you will realize, like, oh gosh, thank God I did not just stop myself because I feared what was going to happen next. In fact, like, I watched an interview, Michelle Obama, who was talking about the husband, Barack Obama, trying out, telling her that he was going to try out to become the president, like he was going to vie.
Yeah.
And she had that fear. Like, my husband now will not be around. And because she did not want to live in that fear, she kind of allowed him, but she, she accepted it, because she was like, if I really wanted to be fearful, I would not have allowed this amazing human being to go out there and make history and inspire people and inspire Black people and do all the things that he has done. So because of that, I always think of fear as it comes from emotions that are really pent up. But when you really look into it, you really want that thing so bad.
Yeah.
But you really feel like maybe it might not go the way it should go, so you fear. But just slash it and go through. Don't even think twice. Just do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope Miss K advice. Which actor will you like to work with, dead or alive, if you could go back in time?
Oh, okay. So, in the country, I can say I would like to act with again, because I did Kina with her, yes, and I love her. Her name is, I don't want to get the name wrong, Stella. Her name is Stella, I think. Let me remember. Her name is...
Or the character name?
No, her actual name is Stella. And Stella.
Oh, and Stella.
And Stella.
The content creator.
Yes, the one who is on Kina as well. Yes, because I find her so funny. Because we had scenes together, and I didn't even get the chance to tell her, because the set was that fast. We were doing everything really fast. I love her because I think that every time I would watch her on Suna Johnny, every time I would see her face, I'm game. Like, I would laugh so much because I think she's very talented and very funny. And then out of this country, I would say Zoe Saldana. I love her because she just always, for me, she just portrays strength, and she always just has, every film I've watched of hers, I've loved. And when I was in my 20s, I really, really wanted to be like an action film actress, because I was into martial arts, boxing, all of that. And so every time I would watch her films, I was like, I would just feel some fire inside me. I'm like, I would love to do something like this. And I always just find her very believable. Whenever I watch anything of hers, I love it. And of course, they're also really, really, I secretly just love comedy. I love funny people. So any show that will make me laugh, anyone on the show that makes me laugh, I'm game. But those two, I would say, in Kenya, definitely Ann Stella. And then, out of the country, it would have to be Zoe Saldana. Yeah.
And Stella, Ebu hit your inbox.
I love you. You're so funny. She's so funny. There are also videos on YouTube. I think they're doing with someone else. I can't remember. But, it's called a Nas Toto.
Nas Toto.
Yes. And every time I watch, it gives me life. I'm laughing all the way. You guys have to watch it. She's really good.
Ridiculous. Yeah. You recently tied the knot, as you've said earlier.
Yes.
How did you guys meet?
Okay, so we met during COVID. We met during Corona, which was, I know.
Lucky you.
It was a time
Tulijifungia kwa nyumba.
everybody that ever hears me say that we met during COVID, they're like, what? How? Because this was a time where everyone was going through serious anxiety of not knowing, what the future is going to be and where we were headed, just as the country and as globally, basically. So I was going through something that was emotionally very heavy. I call it a spiritual awakening, basically, because before that, I used to wake up all the time at like 3 a.m. And I would wake up and I felt really empty. I felt a void, so I didn't know why. I didn't feel satisfied. I was in a low place, I would say, emotionally. And then, so luckily, it was a few days to Ramadan. So Ramadan normally takes 30 days. And then I always love, the Ramadan period because it awakens me spiritually. It's the best time for me the entire year. So when I went through Ramadan, the 30 days, I prayed a lot. And I used to pray middle of the night, 3 a.m., 2 a.m., and I prayed about my life and my future. So I prayed and was specific about the prayer. I was specific about what I wanted in my life in terms of my health. I wanted the best for myself financially, career-wise. I also wanted the best for myself in my love life because I was like, these are the things in your life that you look at to make you, for you to see like, okay, I believe I'm doing okay. So I would pray on them for a good 30 days, every day without missing one day. And then on the 31st day, like when I was done with the 30 days, normally after Ramadan, we have Eid. So it was Eid day, which was the 31st day. And it was also my birthday. It was on the 25th of May, I remember. So that same day is where I met him.
Hey.
And and you know what's strange is that
I'm truly telling you, this is luck.
It's luck.
Yeah.
I know. And it's
luck
also
and
God.
God.
Yes. Because it was an answer in that way. Because I remember that morning I woke up and when it was Eid day and it was also my birthday and it was during COVID. So nobody was leaving the house. So I had a birthday by myself and I also had Eid by myself. And, everything was just by myself. But I don't understand why, but my friend explained to me like what was happening. I remember I was now fixing the house, tidying everything because it's Eid. I'm supposed to be happy. It's my birthday. But I had tears. I did not feel sad. I just had tears that were flowing while I'm doing these things strangely. And then I have a friend of mine who I talk to all the time on WhatsApp. And I told her, like, I don't know what's going on with me. I just can't stop shedding tears. I'm not sad, but I don't know what's going on. And then she was like, okay, sometimes that is a cleanse. Like you went through a good 30 days of prayer. You went through, a lot. And now you're going through a cleanse. So just accept it and have the best day, have the best birthday. Even though you're by yourself, just take care of yourself. This is like a new beginning, new chapter, etc. And that was, to me, a sign that he was the right person. I didn't obviously meet him and go, oh, you're the one. No, that would be weird. But it was everything that happened, in the process, in the sense that when we would talk about our lives, we had a lot in common. We had a lot in terms of our family. We had a lot in...
I think we have a lot.
We have a lot. We still have a lot in common. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Yes, we have a lot in common in that way. And then also, like, I think just the fact that he's a very calm spirit. I consider myself to be very fiery and out there. If something happens, I want to fix it. I'm out there and blah, blah. And then he just came into my life, I would say, to just calm that, because I realized that we complement each other in good ways. And then also, I remember feeling very lost about my career and my financial, I can say my financial situation, being very lost because I was lost because I didn't have the right information. I didn't know, like, what am I supposed to do? Yes, I work. Yes, I get these checks. And then I don't know, how am I going to make this into something that can be long term? And then it just so happened that he works in that way, like in that field, whereby he advises many business owners on how to start a business, on how to create financial legacy, on how to be able to have financial sustenance. And then he would just give me advice, and I was like, I actually need this type of information. And I would learn, and we would talk just as normal as friends.
Yeah.
And then in the process of just us talking, that's where like we realized, we are friendly towards each other, we like each other, then we love each other, then we, like it was a step-by-step process.
Yeah.
But throughout the entire process, I'm grateful because I have my best friend in my life with me. I sumbua him all the time. All the time. But when I go home, I switch off, because this, with our career, we are more like out there. You're the one who's talking, you're the one who's doing all that. And then when I go home, yes, I still talk a lot, but I'm switched off in a good way, whereby if I'm out here, I know what I'm supposed to do. But then when I go back home, I have a very chill life that's it's positive, and I'm grateful every single day. I'm very grateful. Yeah.
That's nice.
Thank you.
So what made this the right time for you to settle down?
I would say the fact that, number one, age, 30, I'm 37.
I'm turning 36 next
when
month.
Is your birthday? Oh,
So September. Yeah.
Yay.
This month ends at
It
31st
actually ends
30th.
August has
31st.
31 days. Yeah.
31 days.
So
Yeah,
in
the
September,
day after tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, that's nice. You've planned something?
No.
Why not? You have to celebrate yourself.
Because it's end of September, so I have a whole month to decide what I'm doing.
My mom's birthday is in September, so I know good people are born in September. Very good people are born in September. But for me, it was, number one, it was age. Not because like as a woman you feel like you're old, but I didn't feel old. I just felt, I can say, grown. I felt grown enough to handle anything. I felt grown enough to move to this stage, because marriage is not something that is easy for anyone, right? People say it all the time, but you need all the wisdom. You also need to be grown as a human being and as a woman for you to even move into this phase. And you also want for your partner to do the same, so that you're not the grown one and then they are bringing jokes. You don't want that in your life.
Rehearsal.
And nobody's waiting, by the way. Hakuna. So because of that, I felt like, okay, now I feel I'm grown enough. And also just how we felt with our relationship, and how we felt just spending time together, who we were to each other, it just felt right. And even the wedding process was so smooth. If I can tell you, like, that's something that we were discussing the other day, like, that is how we know it was the best decision. God made it so smooth that there were no hiccups. There was nothing happening that this has shut down, what. Everything went smoothly and beautifully. And then also the families came together so well. People gelled so well. Friends were made. Also just how everyone just came together, even all the way down to the crew who shot everything. They gave it 1,000%. And the entire process, we just had fun. We had a good time. We had a small wedding. We didn't have a big wedding. It was intentional. We wanted innermost circle, like our family and also very close friends. And then we wanted it. We had several ceremonies, but then the main one was our nikah ceremony. Being Muslim, nikah is actually the main ceremony whereby you tie the knot. And then we had like a nice celebration, which you would call like how you have the reception. So ours was by the beach, which of course, when you're in Mombasa, you of course want to be by the beach and enjoy some seafood and things like that. So it's just everything about it was right. Everything about it felt amazing. And even afterwards, we're still in that phase where we're still feeling like we made the best decision. praying together, of course, asking God for guidance all the way through, and also people just sending us all the prayers, even just through social media, through messages, people just being positive about it, which is a good thing. If anything, I would want for women out there to know, especially if you're older and you're not really sure like about your love life or where it's going. I want for you to know that number one, you don't have a timeline. Like, don't give yourself a timeline, because you just want to be grown and you want your partner to also be grown enough for you, both of you, because marriage is a partnership. It's not just like, oh, I find you cute. Oh, we are going to make cute babies because there's someone on set. A few years ago, I worked on a certain set and there's a guy who was newly married and he was like, I knew my wife was going to give me cute babies, but then, and I'm like, that's
what do
not
you mean? That's so shallow.
And everyone was looking at him like, don't
wake up,
please. This is not why people get married.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. It's a partnership. Your partner is supposed to elevate you. You're supposed to elevate them.
Yeah.
So whether you will do it spiritually, whether you will encourage them to find their purpose financially, whether you will boost them in whatever way, it also should be reciprocated.
Yeah.
Because I believe when it's a partnership, you go far. You go very far. Because yes, as women, let's not forget, we can do bad all by ourselves. We can. But if you find the right person and they are able to advise you, they're able to love you, especially on those days where you're feeling really low and you don't know, what is going on, or they're able to support you, they're able to encourage you to do the right thing, they're able to calm you when you're, all over the place, then of course you need that in your life. So I always say that on my social media platform. I tell everyone, like, I wish them that for them. And I also advise women to never curse, especially if something bad has happened to you in a relationship. Don't curse and go like, oh, I'm done with men. I'm done. These men, how are nowhere?
You're just generalizing everything.
Yes. Yeah. And also, words are powerful.
Yeah. Especially from women.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about us women, but there are things we say that hold so much water that you really want to make sure that you just say, you know what, this one, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And even if it's another one, it didn't work out. But I believe that if I heal fully, and I find the right sense of direction in my life, then I will attract the same and I'll be on the right track or path in my life.
Yeah.
Wish that for yourself, as opposed to saying, oh, I'm done. Nobody's ever done. You'll be 50 years old and still meet someone that's going to love you for who you are, support you fully, and take you to the next level. Because we're learning now, like, everything gets greater later. Don't give yourself a timeline. Everything good will still happen for you. If God wants it to happen, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I see you posting your wedding pictures on social media with actually so lovely caption.
Oh, thank you.
Do you fear the bad eyes of social media and bad energy?
Oh, I don't. And I think I will explain why.
Why?
It's because after, when I told you, like, I went through sickness, and I went through a period in my life where I realized that it could be over for me, because I felt like if I don't heal, I might not be here tomorrow. So during that time, I can say I went through a spiritual awakening. I understood that anything you want in life, it's about your energy and what you put out there. If you bring in fear in any situation, it's bound to happen, because energy and ions, they just keep moving like this. If you do anything and you doubt it, just stop right there, collect yourself, and then give yourself all the positivity. I look at it from a different standpoint.
Okay.
I see it as it encourages women who are my age or even older to see that they can be able to still find love. They can still meet their soulmate if this is something that they are passionate about and they would love to happen for them. And also to bring in positivity into the world. If you were to tune into the news or whatever, there's so much that's going on.
Yeah.
Some of us feel heavy from that, especially for me. I carry people's energy very easily. So I like being around positivity and happiness. And I feel like I want to show people that because it shows them that it is something positive, they support, and at the same time, it shows them that it's possible. You should never really get to a place where you've given up on yourself, even as a woman, and think like, things like this are not going to happen. If this is something that you want, that is, then it can happen for you. And other than just even wedding photos, I share my photos when I'm on set. I share whatever it is that I'm doing because I want for everyone else out there to see like this is what it takes in order for us to do what we do. If you are in the same field, you aspire to be in the same field, then you know what it takes, then you know what to expect. And everything in life, if you understand like human behavior, which I read a lot, I read psychology books a lot because I want to understand human behavior. And I've understood that people feel fear or they feel certain type of emotion because of a pent-up emotion. So there's something that has happened that has fed you to believe that if you put this out there, it'll bring negativity, you will still face negativity when you show videos of yourself. There are people who will be negative and there are people who will be positive.
Yeah.
You can never control the people. You can control what
and
you
actually
do.
you're not supposed to control the people.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And the only thing you are in control of is yourself. So the people can wake up and decide to really trash you or say something negative or to go at it when it comes to your positive light. But what are you going to do about it? Because you can't stop them. They'll still continue if they want to be negative. But everything in life, honestly, is temporary. Everything in life is temporary. Yeah. This is why we say life is a journey, because leo sio kama kesho kutwa. So for that reason, if you have something positive happening right now, share with everybody else. Please, I know we are so used to thinking people are going to feel bad, their hearts are not going to be happy for you, so bad things will start happening. That's because you believed that.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that, do your thing, keep going. You'll be surprised just how the universe is going to support you on that. Yeah.
What projects are you working on now?
Okay, so I have a few scripts that I have been going through. I have to finalize on them, because I was sent 2 different separate scripts. They were sent to me during, like halfway through preparations for the wedding, and I had to explain like I'm going to be having my wedding. So I wasn't fully on them, even though I've gone through, some of the characters that they would want for me to try out. So I can't say much about the title of the shows, but I do know that some of them have already started shooting. As for other than just acting, there are other things, especially for the business Wellness KE, that we are planning to do, the projects. We had a really, really good campaign with school girls in Changamwe High School, and we had this sanitary pad donation drive. And so after that, we learned a lot about some of the situations that girls are facing. So we have new things that are coming up on Wellness KE. So I would want for everyone to just, especially if you're a woman and you want to learn about your health and your well-being. So from products to services that we're going to be offering, that's something really big and I'm excited about. So I can't wait for us to launch all that. And then, other than that, I did not check my phone for a couple of days because I was trying to relax. There was a project I was supposed to do and someone had sent it on my WhatsApp. I tried it out once and then I went into wedding and all that. Then when I went back to check, I was like, hey, sorry, I didn't get back to you. I was, I had my wedding and the person didn't respond. So that was not, that was not nice.
They had moved on.
They had moved on. But, such is life. That's projects, sometimes people choose who they choose and they know like it's an honor to even still be considered and chosen. Yeah. So basically those are the things that are happening. When I get, confirmation and I've made sure that I've signed something that I'm comfortable with, I will definitely let you know. Yeah. But especially this one show seems like it's going to be a really big show, and even just from the script, it's a fun script. So hopefully it comes through and I'm able to to do it. And I look forward to anything that's going to allow me to be able to be on set with people who are vibrant, people who are talented, because then I also don't stay off it for long. I go back, I practice my craft, and stay grateful. So yeah, hopefully it goes well. So I wanted to gift you from Wellness KE. So what we have here is our turmeric tea. This is a really
it's a
good
tea.
Yes, this is a turmeric tea.
Automatically saw turmeric,
Okay.
and I thought, this is the spice.
No, it's a tea because it is very helpful with inflammation, especially for us women, to make sure that we regulate our menstrual periods, and also to be able to get rid of issues like, it's a natural fat burner, and other than that, it also helps in cleansing. It also helps with inflammation. So I like it a lot, especially for the women on the platform. They get really good results from it. And we also have moringa. Moringa is one of my favorites.
Me too.
Yay! I'm happy.
I enjoy my moringa.
I'm happy. I love moringa because, so moringa actually contains over 90 vitamins and minerals. So majority of the times you'll find, because of our hormones, we have issues with our gut health. So we're not able to, maybe you're eating, but then you're not absorbing the right nutrients in the right way.
Yeah.
So because of that, moringa actually is going to help you in substituting that. It's kind of like a natural supplement in that way. So a lot of vitamins and a lot of minerals contained in it. Also, really good for boosting your health, your overall health and well-being. You can actually make a moringa smoothie, which is very popular on the platform. If you go to the Wellness KE YouTube page, we have the recipe there. You can be able to make a moringa smoothie using avocado and bananas and some of the moringa powder, and actually just enjoy your smoothie while it has moringa in it. Or you can make it as a tea. You can actually, like the same way you would brew, chai rangi basically. You would actually brew it with that and then have it. But either way, these are two that have really been supporting women's health. We also have other products and they are really supportive of women's health, like our matcha green tea. We have our neem that is really, really good. It's a neem detox tea, and the rest of the products. The good thing is, if you start taking natural products, you're actually going to be able to improve your health from the inside out, because it's something that is going to be able to help you in cleansing your blood, detoxing, getting rid of inflammation, and so forth. So I want for everyone out there to know that we have these products, and we want for all of you to try them. It's something that makes me happy, because we receive very many positive feedback and messages, and it always just warms my heart, because I know what it's like to be sick. I know what it's like to not have the right, way to be able to take care of your health, because there's so much information out there. But we've simplified it at Wellness KE. We've simplified it so that you can be able to know what to do with your health, and you can improve it. So all are welcome. All
Check
of you
out
are welcome.
Wellness KE.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Karibu tena.
Yay!
Thank you guys for watching the podcast. Please subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.